Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Shoakim Ale in Lagos. Tonight, we'll be looking at several issues. Two of those issues are on the matter of food shortage and the issues relating to the Naira, the state of the Naira, and what has become a worrying state of how the federal government is unable to, at the moment, tame how the Naira keeps falling. And things are really getting bad. The federal government, the vice president said today that smugglers, politicians are those who are trying to stifle the effort of the federal government in making sure that we are making headway. There's food shortage in the land. There is hunger in the land. People are groaning in hardship across the nation. There are protests on the street. But the federal government says they are doing their bit to ensure that this thing is tamed. Tonight, we'll be unveiling some of these issues for you, and maybe we can find a solution to some of these issues. So that's why tonight, my guest tonight will be giving us insight into all of these issues. But first, before we get into the meat of the matter, because the federal government, the vice president, I will be playing for you the soundbite where the vice president has spoken about those who are behind the food shortage and smuggling and stifling the effort of the federal government. We'll be unveiling that for you tonight, but stick around because we need to first and foremost check your political roundup stories.
A Constitution Amendment Bill to introduce state police has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, which is sponsored by 13 members of the House, enjoyed support from the majority of lawmakers who believe that concerns of political victimization by state governors should take the back seat due to the current state of insecurity across the country. Meanwhile, the House has passed a resolution to investigate the exodus of multinational companies from Nigeria. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Oluka Aderiwola, is assuring member states of ECOWAS are addressing challenges that threaten the judicial system in West Africa and the ECOWAS Court of Justice. Justice Aderiwola, who is the chairman of the ECOWAS Judicial Council, also calls on West African leaders to apply justice and equity to build a robust region. He stated these at the statutory meeting of the ECOWAS Judicial Council in Abuja.
The Council has made invaluable contributions to the advancement of democracy, human rights, and prosperity in the region.
The Southeast Caucus of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, is urging the National Working Committee and other organs of the party to recognize Honorable Sunday Ude Okoye as the party's national secretary in line with the PDP constitution and a court order. The meeting, which was held in Enugu, had in attendance the governor of the state, Mr. Peter Mba, and some national officers of the party. In his opening remark, Governor Mba says the region has worked tirelessly for the progress of the party, as he calls on the National Working Committee of the party to respect decisions that emanate from the region.
We're going to leave here with a unanimity of purpose, and we're going to speak very strong, and our strong voice will be heard at the quarters that is meant to be heard.
And the Labour Party Council of State Chairmen says it is in support of the decision of the party presidential candidate on the 2023 election, Mr. Peter Obi, to engage an independent auditor to examine the party's finances. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the chairman of the forum, Mr. C.K. Igara, notes that the leadership of the party, led by the national chairman, Mr. Julius Abure, has displayed high level of transparency in the management of the party finances, contrary to the allegation by some members accusing him of financial misappropriation, noting that the party did not generate 3.5 billion naira as claimed by the suspended national treasurer. He also passed vote of confidence on the national chairman and the National Working Committee of the party.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get started. The federal government is worried about the escalating situation in respect of prices of commodities and food shortage. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, says that some unscrupulous people are working to undermine the effort of the President Bola Tinubu administration to revamp the Nigerian economy. The Vice President says that smugglers and politicians are brains behind the attempt to pull the nation backward. The VP says 45 trucks loaded with maize were intercepted while making their way to neighboring countries at midnight this very Sunday. Take a listen to the Vice President.
forces are hell-bent on plunging this country into a state of anarchy. Those that will not get into power with the ballot box. Instead for them to wait till 2027, they are so desperate. If this country can fall apart, as far as they are concerned, so be it. But we are going to resist them. Just 3 nights ago, 43 trucks of maize, 45, not even 43, were caught being transported to a neighboring country. Just in that illegal act, there are 32 illegal smuggling boats. And the moment the boats put somewhere intercepted, the price of maize scaled by 10,000 naira. It came down from 60,000 to 50,000. And the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security is here. So there are forces that are hell-bent on undermining our nation. But this is the time for us to coalesce into a single force. Rallying around our president, rallying around our government, rallying around each other. We have the resources, we have the intellect, we have the capacity.
You had a vice president. Is named those who are possibly responsible in part to the food shortage that we see in Nigeria. In the Senate, this matter was also up for conversation. Take a listen to what the lawmaker said.
What we think we have in the silos in stock may not be up to that figure. And that means that we have to look for much of the food that we need for our people elsewhere. Whether we go to the market and buy, or whatever it is that we need to do, Mr. President, we must provide food for Nigerians at this point.
State governments are doing well, trying to get across to those in need. Others should also do the same. Not only the state government, even local governments. Their grants, their allocations from the federation account has increased. They should also go out there, procure grains and distribute. What we have at hand is not the sole responsibility of the federal government to solve. The entire system must come together, must collaborate to make sure we do the needful. So state governments should come out and do the needful.
So now people are being called out. State government, federal government. Yesterday on the program, someone said that the silos are empty. I mean, you're hearing on all of these issues that are coming up right now. What are the facts? What are the issues? Where do we go from here? People are hungry. That's what they say. People have gone to the street to protest. What is the government doing? Where do we go from here? Let's get the conversation forward. I'm being joined tonight by a former senator, a former minister of work, and it was a former pro-chancellor of the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Senator Adesheye Ogunlewe joins us live here in our Lagos studio. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Have you ever thought that we're going back to the military days where we'll be talking about shortage of essential commodities, shortage of food? Are you worried about what is going on?
Very worried, very, very worried. But I'm not surprised because for 8 years of the last administration, it was a fight against the academia, the universities, the researchers, people who are supposed to do research for your country and get modern way of farming. You fought them, they closed down universities, no research, nothing, no research grant.
But has there been research in the first place? Have they done any research in that respect?
A lot, particularly when you invest in research. There is no country that grows without research because the product from the farm are the product that you can manufacture and export. But where the professors in the university are not honored, there is no fund for research. You cannot believe we have over about 20, university and colleges of agriculture.
There are more than that. There are over 30 actually.
Yes.
Based on what the Minister of Agriculture has said. I mean, some of those colleges and universities of agriculture are there. If the producer can put them on the screen, there are a number of them. There are 3 universities of agriculture. Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, University of Agriculture, Makodi, Michael Opara University of Agriculture, Umuduke. Those are universities of agriculture, but there are other colleges, and there are a number of them from Ondo to Gombe to Oyo to Ebonyi. A long list of federal colleges of agriculture across the country.
And the combined acreage of this is over 50,000 hectares. University of Abeokuta alone, Federal University of Agriculture, has over 10,000 hectares. But there is no investment in them. There is no investment. They've done so much on research. But it is for the government now to harvest it. They belong to the federal government. Federal government pays their salary. They should just invest in them. We don't have any cost not to have food in this country. With all these institutions that we have been investing on for years. But their products are not, are not seen by the federal government as what they must invest on.
On one hand, Senator, there are those who argue that security is a major problem to our food production.
Yes.
And you will hear, you listen to what the Vice President said. He said smugglers, on one day, on Sunday, 45 trucks loaded with maize have been taken and smuggled out of this country. And he has accused smugglers and some politicians from being behind it.
But in the manifesto of the party, they said they are going to have commodity boards. If you have commodity boards, they will have bought all these cereal from the farmers. So there's a disconnect between the government and the farmers, between the government and researchers in the universities, what they are producing, what they ought to be producing, what they must research on. We don't have any reason not to have food in this country. There are so many areas where they can produce food, particularly if they invest in all these colleges of agriculture and University of Agriculture. They will make it. Let the president call them and let them address this issue and see what they can do, so that we can have hope in the next 1 month, in the next 1 year, what they can produce, the seedling they can produce. They have to make sure that they do research on new seedlings that can yield higher. And they have been doing so, but no incentive from the federal government, from the state government, for them to produce. There is no country that grows like this without heavy investment in research in agriculture.
Nigeria consumes an average of about 7 million metric tons of rice annually. From that quantum, just about a few percentage. It's even said that there are about 3 million or thereabout metric tons of rice are being smuggled into Nigeria, and we also we are not able to meet the production quota, to meet our consumption quota in the country. What we produce, it does not match what we consume. From your own point of view, rice is perhaps one of the most popular staple food in this country. How do we meet up? Because there are noise about the issue of shortage. Now, in the immediate, we need to find an urgent solution. In the intermediate, we need to find how we can grow and keep more, because there are those who are saying that the silos, the storages for these grains are not even, they are empty. So 102,000 metric tons of grains that the president said they should bring out. There are those who are questioning and say those things don't exist. Where do you think the Bola Tinubu government can start from, so that people are not falling off the road from hunger?
There are professors in all our universities that are only doing research on rice. New variety of rice they are doing research almost on daily basis on them. Let the federal government invest in what we have. We will produce a lot better. But when you don't invest in research in your country, and you think your country is going to grow. It's very difficult. As if we don't have people who have spent all their life, studying how to produce rice.
So you want the federal government to go back to the universities and these schools and to consult the professors?
Yes, and invest in them. Give them more money. Give them research funds.
After they pay ASU salary.
When you don't even honor your academia, people who have the brain to develop your country, you owe them salaries, you treat them as if they are not important. You think everybody that has money is more important than people that have brains. That's our problem. To be a professor in a university, you know what it takes. Other than to be a buyer and seller. And then you make more money and you are neglected. How many researchers have been honored? How many researchers have been given national honor? We must go back to basics. Every product that we are seeing in the market, medical products, fruits, juice, they are born out of research. When you don't do research on, in your country to produce, then you'll be behind other nations. And we have the brain, we have the people, we have the institutions that belong to federal government.
But we have research institutes apart from the universities and the colleges.
Many.
We also have research institutes.
Many.
But sadly, in fact, during COVID, it was even said that some of the medical laboratories and research centers were moribund. We couldn't even generate any research to be able to support sustaining our own people. We started running helter-skelter for help. The question here is that in the immediate, like the question I asked, people are hungry, so they are asking. And you are a very good friend of President Bola Tinubu.
Yes.
And the question is that there are those who will say, and you are one of those who campaigned vigorously for President Bola Tinubu, that those who will say, your friend and your party promise so and so, but it doesn't look like you're delivering.
No. That is why everybody is discussing it. It's a free, let anybody who want to contribute to what must be done. We don't have, reason for excuses again, for blames. And he is doing his best to calm down people so that there can be solution. Like these 45 trucks that were about to be smuggled out, they will return them to the country.
Is it looking like things are getting out of hand and maybe the government is finding it difficult to be able to resolve these issues?
I don't think so. But they need to do more, particularly on our university institutions, on our research institutions.
But that may not be immediate. That may not solve the immediate problem.
They have it already. It's not new. When you're talking about cassava, when you're talking about rice, cereals, tomato, people have spent all their life studying them. And they are in these institutions. Even ordinary graduates, undergraduates before they graduate in all these universities, they do research. But there is no investment.
So the solution to the problems of this administration that is being faced by the society today, the president has it in the hands of the professors. Is that what you're saying?
One of it. We should not neglect our professors. We should not neglect our research institutions. We should go back to them and ask them the solutions. They have them.
Let me take you. I mean, the Senate is probing and querying the Anchor Borrowers Program. And, it was a very popular initiative by the Central Bank of Nigeria trying to support agricultural initiative in this country. There are those who will ask the question. We saw the pyramid of rice that were being starched in some part of the country. But there are queries, there are question marks as to the funding, the execution, and some of how the monies were being spent. Are you worried that some of these may have gone into private pockets? Of
course, there is no doubt at all. The function of a central bank does not include extra funding of such projects outside the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, outside the Bank of Agriculture, outside Research Institute. Have you ever heard of 1 Naira from that anchor borrowers that was invested in research? Why should you be giving people who are only going to farm?
So the CBN shouldn't have even ventured into
at all. It is not part of their mandate at all. Yes, they can fund research. and get the produce of the research into the system. But when you fund farmers directly, which you cannot even determine where they are going to do the farming, they just diverted the money.
If you were the president, would you do importation of food in large quantity in the immediate?
Let us assess what is available first. Let us talk to research institutions. What do you have? What can we do? It is an academic exercise. We must talk to them. Anybody that is doing without statistics,
without data.
Without data, how do you know how many acres they will say?
You can't plan, you can't act because you don't have the data.
The data. And these data are available in all the institutions. They have done so much. They have even, outside farms, which they send their students to. So it is not the farm within the compound of these institutions. They have so many outreach farmers that they can come together, and in another 6 months, there will be enough food in this country. And these basic ones, like gari, like yam, like potato, they'll be available in 6 months because they have varieties.
So the president said he will not go in the way of importation of food.
It doesn't have to.
He said he will rely on local farmers.
Yes.
And he said he will not fix prices of commodity.
Local researchers, local farmers too. Local farmers are there, but it is the researchers.
But most of these farmers are not allowed to go to their farms because of the insecurity.
That is not in every state. That is what the federal government can also tackle. Some people who are in the military, I say, give us the power to clear all these forests. And they say they are going to do so. I don't know the reason why they are not pursuing that again. But it is not in every state that you have this problem. There are so many other locations where we can still do thorough mechanized farming.
I mean, Dr. Bugaje, for example, yesterday says, it doesn't look like this government knows how to resolve this problem.
They know. How will they not know? Why are we talking about it? Are they not going to listen? Are these universities, they don't belong to them? They belong to them, they fund them, they pay their salaries.
Dr. Bugaje, for example, believes that the policies of this government are not the right policies. He believes that the manner in which they are approaching it under the Tinubu administration does not show capacity.
That's why everybody should comment. That's why everybody should add value. That's why you say, okay, what do we do? Honestly, we have enough capacity within ourselves to solve all our problems. Call the headaches in this country. They are there, but nobody talks to them. Nobody believes in them. You even tell them they are not going to pay your salary. You must go to, one crooked way of paying salary of people who devoted their life to research. How can you treat them like that? And you now treat spare part sellers, people who are bricklayers. You treat them above professors in the university. Which country goes like that? People that spend all their life doing research, day and night. Nobody talks to them. Nobody knows them. All these institutions have over 50,000 hectares of land available within the premises of the university and colleges, and these colleges that can be farmed immediately. If you give them money, they need money. All this money that they are giving to people, give them to these universities. They will produce the food. They will do additional research.
Look at the Naira, for example. You look at the rate at which the dollar is falling to the Naira. I mean, the Naira is falling against the dollar.
It is production. When you don't produce anything, you think your dollar will wait, it will run away from you.
Peter Obi was screaming that he wants to produce. He wants to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
Yes.
You agree with Peter Obi on that?
It is not Peter Obi alone that knows that in the south, in the western region, then they have, industrial corporations where you have Ikeja Industrial Estate, you have Igomu Industrial Estate, you have Apapa Industrial Estate, you have several industrial estates. That is what the federal government and state should do. Create industrial estate, do research on all these commodities, put them out, produce them, and let the people, over 0.5% of what we produce are wasted because they are not processed.
The renewed hope agenda, do you think that maybe, just maybe, some of those who were sold and who caught that agenda may be losing hope in it.
No.
After 8 months.
How do you now re-establish it? That's what we are talking about. If you're talking about how to actualize it, you have to do research. You have to go back to the basics. A country that does not invest in research, have you ever seen any budget?
But one will imagine that all of these were the government got it. The APC team, under the Tinubu team, they got all of this research. They have the data. They get on the ground and get things working. Those are the things that a lot of people thought.
Have we ever had in our national budget any item for research?
Now, I'm saying, Senator, that when you and your friends were campaigning for President Bola Tinubu, you said he's the best man to do the job.
Definitely. He's still the best.
We thought that you imagine that he's got all the data. He's got all the solution. 8 months down the line, you said that we should go back to the basics. We thought that you had the basics, didn't you?
Surprised. Please criticize. Please give options. Please let us hear your own views.
After 8 months.
Then we will now
Senator, I am asking that, is it the right time to be going back to the basics? We thought you had all the fundamentals intact and you were going to hit the ground running. Those are some of the things you said. You were on television. You were on record to say that this is the best option for Nigeria.
It is not a dash. Along the line, you meet obstacles, which we are meeting now.
But you are saying that they should go back to basics. It's not a matter of obstacles. You are saying that the fundamentals are missing.
No. Go back to research. Even this economic problem, there are people in universities that have studied options. Call them.
We thought you had all of those data.
They will come on board again. They will come on board.
So you are saying that there are some failures right now, and we should go back to the drawing board.
Normally, if you have a plan, there are obstacles along the line. They are unpredictables. X factor. Something you cannot imagine will happen. Like a force majeure. That is what is happening, and we are going to get it. Nigerians should not be patient. People, please criticize.
How easy do you tell a hungry man to be patient?
If you tell him...
You know what they say about the hungry man?
Give him a time. Your hunger will last another 3 months.
Have you seen an hungry man before?
Yes, 3 months.
You know what they say about the hungry man?
No.
They say he's an angry man.
You can have hope if you are sincere. And you know what you are doing.
Hope for breakfast, hope for lunch, hope for night, hope for dinner. If you have a professor
of cassava, for instance, coming on board, say, look, we have been given enough money, and in another 3 months, we are going to produce this ton of cassava, and we will have Gary. They would listen to the man, other than the politician coming to talk to them. They will say it's deceiving them. But where a researcher talks, we should get them involved. Nigeria, okay. There is hope. This man knows what he's saying. You can ask him questions. Okay, how do we get there? How many land do you have? What is the acreage that you are going to plant? Then we will have more confidence in what a researcher will do or will say to the community, to the nation, than what a politician will say. It appears they've lost confidence in what the politicians are saying. Let some people who are knowledgeable on these areas talk to us.
You know, things have gotten so bad that Senator Aline Dume and Senator Salim Mustafa in the Senate are proposing, they moved the motion for the introduction of food stamps in Nigeria as an interim measure to address the imminent food insecurity in Nigeria. That's how far we're going.
I would have expected them to invite university professors that they pay salary to, that they fund, to come and address them, to come and tell them, these are the problems. Prof, what do you think we can do? You are an expert in this cassava. You are an expert in cereal. You are an expert in tomato. They are experts in everything.
Senator, you being a federal minister, you being a senator, you being a pro-chancellor, would you say this is the lowest that we have come as a people in this country?
It is like that in the life of a country.
But would you say that this is the lowest we have come?
I can't say so. You know, I'm a politician.
1,500 to the Naira to $1.
Because we are not producing.
Senator,
we have to produce.
We have the unemployment rate to release the inflation rate, to release the indices.
It will be worse.
But is it a fact, Senator? That this is the lowest perhaps I have seen?
No. It is the figure that is...
I'm telling you the indices, Senator.
No. We'll overtake it. It's because, yes, we have to plan more.
Okay.
We have to do more research. We have to know why is it like this. That is the problem I have with the manager of the economy.
All right.
When things are going like that, call researchers, what do we do?
Senator, we must leave it at that, but I am hopeful. And I believe that if we get our acts together, and that's why we are probing this fact and this matter, so that we can get solutions.
Yes.
You know, that we believe in this country, and I believe that this is perhaps the coming together of some of the brightest black people that we have on earth.
We have them.
So why can't we get our acts together as a people?
Yes, that's what we lack.
But yet we are hoping and believe that the government that is leading will be able to do just what they promised that they would do. But thank you. You are one of the promoters of that government.
Yes.
But we hope that your friends, you talk to them, and they will be able to do the right thing.
By the grace of God.
Thank you so much,
Nigerians,
Senator.
just be patient. We'll get there.
Patience is
difficult.
Patience is one of the commonest words now.
Yes, it's difficult, but we'll get there.
I appreciate it.
We are on top of it.
Senator Adesheye Ogunlewe is a former senator, a former Minister of Works, and a former pro-chancellor of the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Thank you so much indeed for your time today.
My pleasure.
Take a break, everyone, and when we return, more on the state of the economy. A political economist, Ayo Yalowo, who is also a member of the APC, will be joining me. Ayo will be telling us what he thinks are some of the problems in the economy today, some unveiling of some issues in the economy. Ayo has some things to tell us tonight on the program. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So the Senate today resolved to further investigate 10 trillion Naira anchor borrowers program by the Central Bank of Nigeria, as well as accountability and the ways and means loans by the Apex Bank. The lawmakers say the move was to plug loopholes in future development finance activities of the CBN. The Senate resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the details of the ways and means, including the various intervention programs, such as the Anchor Borrowers Program, monies given to state governments, manufacturers, aviation, banks, excess funding in the power sector, amongst others, which raise the current debt profile of the country. And there are also questions that are being asked about how some of these activities went and why the Naira keeps falling. Take a listen to some of the debate on the floor of the Senate.
Even between when we prepared the budget and today, the market has destroyed the Naira. And talking about EFCC going to arrest some bureau de change operators, we are actually practically operating a system now in which if it's those who are completely uninformed about monetary policies that buy and sell exchange rate under the tree that seems to be determining the real exchange rate. What the bank refers to as market means try to balance supply with demand. This is the policy that has crashed the Naira.
Will the country continue to carry this burden that is hoisted on the country through questionable means in the past? We must be bold to investigate those things and see how we can cut down this obligation.
All right, you had some of the debate on the floor of the Senate earlier today. So let's get talking. Why is it Naira? Why does it keep falling? And things are actually getting escalated. Prices of commodities are getting off the roof. And there are conversations with the major manufacturers of cement in this country to peg the price of cement. Ayo Yalowo is a political economist and a member of the APC. He joins us live from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Yalowo, for joining us. Give us an understanding. What, in your own thinking, is the reason why the Naira keep falling?
Thank you, Sean. Good evening. What has been going on, like I said somewhere else, is not economy. It's not economically driven. It's not driven by any market forces. It's not driven by any econometrics. What we are witnessing today is nothing but pure and unbridled criminality. You see, we have had a situation where we think we are running a free market economy, but we've had a few people sit somewhere and decided they're going to destroy this country. So tonight, I want to say clearly that what has been going on has been nothing short of criminality, and if the people involved or charged with our affairs are willing to solve this problem, there are simple things to do. You don't have to look at anybody's face. I mean, there is a saying that says, don't look at Uche's face, like we used to joke here. So, as I speak to you, from analysis and research carried out by people that I'm aware of, banks have held liquidity back from their customer over the years. And as I speak, a few Nigerian banks are sitting on over $7 billion United States dollars, refusing to sell. So rather than people getting FX for legitimate transaction as it should be done in a normal climb, we have now resorted to going under the trees to do our transaction. The second challenge we are facing is there is something they call Binance. These guys don't do anything but speculate. Just today alone, they have shifted the price or the value of Naira to dollar from 1.7 to 1.8 within 1 hour. So if the CBN want to solve this problem, there is no point pretending and releasing memo that they have been releasing over these weeks. The CBN knows exactly what to do. Does the CBN governor have the balls of doing what he needs to do? Now, this is the question you should be asking me. So if he has the balls, and I'll tell him right to his face, I'll give you 5 banks' names, go after their MDs. The same thing Sanusi did in those days. Take these guys off. Let them be investigated, arrested, and manacled like the criminals that they are. They are nothing but economic criminals.
But Ayo, let's substantiate the issue.
Let's reorganize the banks. When we have reorganized the banks.
Ayo, just if I may jump in. So let's clarify so that we're not talking, as though the balloon with air, So substantiate this for us. When you say this is criminality and this is not being determined by any form of economic matrix, what do you mean? Be specific. Who are these criminals? The vice president has said that there are those who are smuggling food items and there are those politicians. It's enough. Nigerians may not be able to understand some of these accusations upon accusation. If there are facts, can we name those facts?
Okay, this is not about jumping around. Like I said, we have an agglomeration of facts, of facilities that has happened. We have the bank executives who have been superintending over these sleaze. If you have followed the banking trajectory in Nigeria, the last 20 years, you find out that we've had CBN governors who have been CBN governors. They supervise banks, they punish banks when they err. But in the last 9 years, we didn't have a CBN governor who actually sat as a CBN governor. We had somebody who was partaking in the sleaze. So for now, I want the CBN to sit down at the CBN governor. So first and foremost, the first casualty should be the head of some of these bank executives. They have superintendent over this crime. They have been refusing to do what they need to. In fact, let me give you an example. Just last week, the CBN released $200 million to the market, and the banks were supposed to sell. Guess what they did? The banks were selling at over 100 Naira ahead of what the CBN sold to them. What normally should have happened, the difference between what CBN gives you and what you sell to the market should never be beyond 2-3 Naira. But banks have the effrontery to sell with over 100 Naira arbitrage on top of it. So what we have been having has been around tripping. That is for the bank's executive. For the Binance people, those ones just sit somewhere and they have been busy fluctuating the price. And the challenge with this is that you can't even say who is this and who is that. Because one, any criminal activity can go through that channel. They don't pay taxes. You can use it to collect ransom. They can use it to launder money. So the CBN have to go after those ones. And like I said, the bank executive must answer for this. What bank business have they been doing in the past 8 years that they've been posting the kind of results they have been posting? What they have been doing has been nothing but strict round tripping. They've sat on over $7 billion United States dollars and they have not done transactions with them. So
but
everybody
how
sits
does
down
this
and is expecting the president to bring down the price of dollars.
Yeah. I know that you were a former banker. How does this keep happening? And those regulators, bank regulators, and those financial regulators are doing nothing about it. This racketeering
exactly the reason why I said
complicit in all of this.
Yes, the CBN has to first clean his own house because this nonsense started from CBN. If the CBN has been doing its job like a proper CBN, we will not even get to this point. But now that we are at this point, the new CBN governor will now have to tell us, is he capable of being the CBN governor? Can he develop the balls of steel? Can he remove these guys? You can't do paddy with these people. They have decided they are going to destroy this economy. As I speak to you, this evening, they are selling 1,850. There is no market activity, Shewan, I can tell you without equivocation, that has led to this. The only reason we are here today is criminality. And if you do not deal with the people who are at the top of the food chain, you are just playing with whatever you do. You can go to Zone 4 and shoot the people there. You're just wasting your time. If you deal with the banks, like I said, what we can now do, reorganize the banks. Every transaction should pass through the bank. See, the CBN has been releasing circular in the past few weeks. Has anybody complied with any of the orders? No. So which means you keep threatening sanction and you're not sanctioning anybody. Arrest these guys, take them out, put in caretaker committees for these banks, remove the criminals that are running some of the, I'm not saying all the banks, but of course we know the ones that are causing these problems. Remove them, put people there to run the banks. When we have reorganized the banks, we can easily deal with these people under the tree. They are too small. They are not the real issue. If I have a transaction to carry out in, let's say, America or wherever, and the bank can do the transaction, why do I need to go to a malam under the tree in the first place? It is because the banks have abdicated their responsibility. That is what has enabled Zone 4 people to now begin to determine our economy. Everybody has been speaking grammar, nobody is saying the truth because everybody is friends. So we need to separate friendship from reality. If we want to solve this problem today, we will solve this problem overnight. Take out the banks that has been causing this problem. Remove the executives. Reorganize the banks. When the banks are reorganized, the banks should begin to do transaction for FX the way it should be done. When that has been done, automatically you will come out, you will take out or cut off this under the tree malams. They are a small problem in this major challenge. Do they have 7 billion? They don't. The banks have over $7 billion as I speak to you, and they are not doing transaction. Just remember, about a week or two ago, the CBN said the NOP, that is your net open position, should be reduced to 0%. Has any of the banks complied? No. So what is the CBN governor doing?
Yeah,
if the banks have refused to comply
quickly,
with
let me jump in.
Why are the MDC sitting there? Why are the GMC sitting
let
there?
me jump in.
Why are the EDC sitting there?
To what end do these people, these people who you say are into this racketeering? Because you have said that they are hell-bent on destroying this economy. To what gain do you think they have? Why are they opposition? Are they member of the political the ruling party? Who are these people? Maybe they are not Nigerians. To what end? Why do they want to destroy this country?
What is their aim? I can only tell you that their aim is to get money as much as they can. See, before, when a bank is started, I mean, let's use First Bank for instance. You don't get First Bank owner is not the MD of First Bank. But check what they did over the last 30 years. All the banks don't have strong board. So what you have is a tutelage board that just sits there, like titular, no power. The MDs dictate to the board what they can do. This should never happen. The bank board should be able to sanction erring executive. But today, the challenge has changed. Suddenly, most of these banks are owned by the executives. Suddenly, they don't want to leave. When Sanusi came and said, okay, you have to spend only 10 years, what did they do? They started a new system. They call it holding companies. So when they retire, they now sit over the holding companies. They are still running the banks. It's a racket. So I don't know what their end game is. But you see, if the government wants to sit down as the government and do its job, then I have told the government what they need to do. Take out at least 5 of them. If they want to know what I have in mind, you can speak with me in private. I will tell them the banks, they should go and check their books. You will see that it is clear. Take out at least 2, 3, 4, 5 out of them. The rest of them will sit up. This is how it is done. When Sanusi took out the ones that were other banks sat up. But
there are those who will say that it is a statement of a failing performer or someone who has failed to perform when you now start pointing accusing finger. If you're saying you're pointing at Kivir and say, oh, someone is sabotaging me, there are those who will say, have you really done the right thing? Is it because Nigerians are now standing up and say there is hunger in the land? There's a spiraling effect in the depreciation of the value of the Naira to the dollar. Is it the reason why we are hearing that there are some people who are hell-bent on destroying this economy? There are those who will argue, those who are in opposition to say there are no capacity for this government that promised to fix this economy, and that's why they are giving the excuses.
Sean, let me ask you a simple question. What economic activity is driving the price of dollar to Naira? If you think it is not a sabotage, please, can you tell me what economic activity is driving this dollar Naira? Can you answer this question? Because nobody knows. So, aside from the banks, which I have mentioned, there are other factors too. You have FAC, every time FAC is shared, suddenly dollar price also shoots up. So, if the governors, the subnationals, the local government are all complicit in not doing their job, we need to query this aspect. You see, foreign exchange transaction has to be guided. It used to be a delicate transaction that used to be guided by rules and regulation. Suddenly, anybody can carry 1 million, 2 million naira to Zone 4 or wherever, any other place in the country. I'm using Zone 4 because it's Abuja, and go and change it. Nobody knows who you are. You do not sign any KYC. Nobody knows what the transaction is meant for. So you see, we need to reorganize our system. I am not pointing at Kisi finger. I'm telling you where the problems are. But foreign exchange should never be sold like you are saying under the tree. It is not a transaction. I mean, it's not a transaction that can be done without any guidance. It has to be guided by laws and regulation.
If you are saying this, do you think that the chief executive of this country is unaware of what these things that you have mentioned? You think this kind of thing is happening and the president is unaware of it?
Well, Shego, I have not sat with him to ask him whether he's aware or not. I am telling you what I know. And we all have you see, he's not an all-knowing person. Maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't know. I cannot answer that question. But my job here, as I sit here as a Nigerian and somebody who knows a little about the economy, is to tell him what I think the problems are and what I think should be done. When you share FAC every month and you do not have, some states, most states now have received FAC since the removal of subsidy higher than what they used to take, maybe 60% or more. But have you seen anything done with such money? The money just disappear because there are nooks and corners. So see, what I'm saying is this. If you organize the banks to the way banks should be, and you have arranged the transaction the way transaction should be run in terms of FX, now those small issues of BDC can easily be dealt with. You cannot license a proper BDC, maybe 5, 6, 7, and say these are the only BDCs we license. And for every transaction, there must be full reporting lines. If you are changing money for ABC, we must know who these ABC are. And if there's a need to do further checks on this, today, as we speak in Nigeria today, anybody can change $1 billion from Naira to dollar, and you don't know who the person is. So these are the challenges. So why I'm talking about the banks is when you have arranged the banks and you have reorganized the banks, you can easily now deal with the BDC aspect. But going to shoot them or arrest them is just a method that will not work. First and foremost, organize the banks. When you have organized the banks, transactions that should go to the bank will not go to Malam. If anybody wants to change money from Malam, it shouldn't be $1 billion, $2 billion. It should be small transaction, 1,200 naira. $200 that somebody dashes that you pick somewhere. It shouldn't be. The BDC should not be an extension of our banks. It is wrong. Yeah. It is not acceptable. It is not done anywhere in the world.
Now, thank you so much, Ayo. We need to go. So, some of your friends online are trolling you right now. They say, oh, Ayo is lamenting, member of the APC, that your party is failing. There's some of your friends online are trolling you, that your party promised a lot, but you are underperforming. That's what some of the trolls are saying. But we need to go.
I wish them all the best. They can enjoy their trolling. But this is the reality. We need to say the truth.
Thank you so much, Ayo Yalo, a member of the APC and political economist. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. But that's our show for today. Many thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow again, God willing. I'm sure Bye-bye.